Hey, everyone. My name is Kelly Boyer. I am the founder of Transformative Healing. I'm also the founder of SheRises, Amplify, and Thrive for six-figure success. And I'm excited to share with all of you coming in early 2025. I am the creator, producer, and host of a new project that I'm launching called She Rises, Amplify, and Thrive live speaker series. That's right. It is a live speaker series where I am going to bring in an interview and have a beautiful conversation with light workers, spiritual masters, healers, visionaries, change makers from all over the world to just have them share what their gifts are, their messaging, just share their resonance with you so that, we can really make an impact not only on the microcosm level, but the macrocosm level. And the beautiful thing with this program that I'm going to get ready to launch is I'm super excited because from every sale that comes from it, 5% of every sale is going to be donated to the humanitarian cause of the month so that we can, again, like I said, not only do impact at the microcosm level, but on the macrocosm level and really give back to our world. I really want to make this world a place of just unconditional love and joy and happiness, and most importantly, of oneness. So that's what I'm working on to give back to all of you. I'm super excited about it. If just what I've said so far excites you like it does me and you really resonate with it, be sure to register. I'll have the link down below, but you definitely want to register. You want to get on that list so that you have information of when it launches or upcoming information. But most importantly, when it does launch, you want to be on that list so you get access to these beautiful speakers that will be coming on. So I'm super excited about that. Make sure to register. But that will be coming in 2025. Okay, let's talk about really stepping into your business. What does that look like? What does that mean? And in order to step into your business, you have to know what it is that you have to offer. So when we talk about an offer, especially when we're talking about being in the healing business itself, we're talking about what is it that uniquely makes us that we can give back to others, so that they can, amplify and thrive and really step into who they are, not only as a human being, but as a spiritual being. So when we talk about that, a lot of people say, well, I don't really know what my gifts are. I'm not sure what my gift is. Well, just know that all of us came into this world with gifts. We all have them. We have something that is unique about us that we are here to share with the world. And however you decide to express that, it is uniquely woven into our blueprint. And so it is ours, like we have it. And one of the things that's important is to know that you may have things that are similar, or I don't even want to use the word like in comparison to someone else. They may be similar, but they're not. There is something about you and your unique soul signature energy that provides whatever your unique gift is. So, we talk about out there that there's a lot of psychics, there's a lot of intuitives, there's a lot of mediums that are out there. There's a lot of energy healers, whatever it is, you name it, it's out there. Quantum healers. Well, know that yes, we all may fall into that label or that niche, but I'm going to tell you what I do is going to be different and unique from what you do. We may use or share some of the same, I'm going to say, clairs on how to do that. But the way that I experience it and the way that I express it is going to be different from you, the next person, or anybody else that is out there. And that is the beautiful thing about why you came here, because you are uniquely you. You have something that nobody else has that is completely special and can be shared and given to the world to also experience. So it's very important that you understand that. And I'm going to go into that in a little bit more detail here in just a bit. But I really want to talk about the first thing that is so important when we talk about discovering what it is that we have to give, our gifts. And that is understanding the importance of healing ourselves. I talk about this a lot because I healing is so important, not only in our own life journey, but it's really important in our business, because if we are not healed, we project that into our business model, we project that onto our clients, and that's not something that we want to do. We don't want to project I'm going to say our junk into, first of all, our business that we want to be successful and sustainable, and then our junk onto clients who then might start taking those frequencies in as their own. And so we don't want to create those untruths for our clients, and again, for our business. So one of the things that's really important that we really need to focus on is our healing journey. That is a huge percentage of what we came here to do. And we really need to work on healing those things that are triggering us, which really what is being triggered is some belief that we have about ourselves that is a lot, that is a lie. You know, limiting beliefs are liars. It may have been something that was true in that moment that it was created, but that does not mean that it is true from the time that it was created up until wherever we are at in life. But we have to do that healing, because what happens is that when we have all of these wounds, and what I'm really meaning by wounds is limiting beliefs, conditioning, and programming. When we have all of those frequencies inside of us, what happens is they then jam up our gifts. And our gifts are constantly screaming very loudly, like they really want to come out. But imagine it as like your sink, right? So you have like all of your gifts are in this beautiful funnel waiting to come out. But in the sink, we put like, in my sink, there's a lot of hair that gets into there. There's just gum and goo from just, could be from the sewers, the soil in the ground getting clogged in those pipes. And then it sits there and it gets clogged, and like it's clogged up. And then we have our gifts that are under that, and they're like, I'm trying to get out, I'm trying to get out, I'm trying to get out. And then usually what happens is, the water doesn't go down in the sink, or the pipe bursts, and then we have like a bigger mess that creates more trauma and crisis. So we really have to start working and being very aware of the things that are coming up in our life that is triggering us, that is making us feel uncomfortable, that is making us feel like that we don't have something to share with the world, and that's not true. So we have to be very aware of that healing. So we got to start working on that. And there isn't any wrong way of doing healing. You really have to decide what resonates with you. It could be inner child work, it could be past life regression work, ancestral work. It could be, I'm a huge proponent of working with the superconscious and subconscious, mostly because I am a psychology nerd. I love the human mind and the human brain. But it could be that type of work. It could be really working on moving and shifting your energy within your chakras. It could be meditation, whatever it is that resonates with you. I'm going to 100% encourage you to really dive headfirst into all of that and start working on clearing all of the clearing all of that gunk and junk that's in the way of your gifts trying to loudly scream and get out. So that's the first part of it. The second part is that if you are on your healing journey and you are moving forward and you're like, I'm putting in this work, but you still feel stuck, like you don't know what it is that comes out, like that's coming out of you as your gift to give, let's talk about that. First and foremost, again, as I was saying, what I have is not going to be anything that anybody else has. Your gifts are yours and yours alone. They are unique, again, to your soul signature blueprint. And so I think the misconception is that oftentimes, because we do, a lot of healers come out and they share the way that they work, or we get caught up in the belief that, oh, because they do it that way, I have to do it that way. That must be the only way to do it. That is a very much misconception, very limited belief, because that's not true. When healers or spiritual masters are coming forward and they're talking about the ways that they work, it's the way that they work. There are things that you can from that you can take from that, and you can give it a go and see how it works for you. But most importantly, you have to be very in tune with your body, with your soul's essence, to really know how it is that I'm going to say that you operate in the world. So, for example, we talk about our clear senses all the time. And, there is this general kind of like, if you were to read about this description of what it is and how it works. But the truth of the matter is that the only reason that is invented is kind of like a structure or like an idea of how it's supposed to be. But the way that it works for you is not going to be the way that it works for your neighbor or anybody else. You still have a unique frequency that is connected to that, of how you're going to do things. So don't fall into that limiting belief of, well, if it works that way for them, then it has to be that way for me. That's not true. It is not true at all. So, for example, and I can only use me as the example because like I said, I'm not you, but like I've done a lot of healing. So all of my clairs have opened up, even to the point where I smell some really questionable things. So that's this clair too, just like tasting. Um, but my clairs are opened up. I've done that healing. But you know, I call myself an intuitive because I am intuitive. I've always had the ability to foresee things before they happen, or foresee things in the sense of it, like feel them before they happen. Um, Starting out, I was like, oh, I'm a psychic and I'm a medium. So just like we all do, we take these classes to enhance, or we do these summits and things to try to enhance the way that we work. Well, it was good because I learned a lot, but at the same time, I did run into some difficulties because I was trying to be like them, exactly like them. And when you try to be exactly like whoever it is that's facilitating, or your teacher or your guru, I'm going to tell you, you're going to run into that roadblock of getting stuck because you don't do things exactly like them. You do not have their exact same soul DNA matrix. Yours is different. So you got to take what resonates with you. I'm not saying don't give it a try, because you do, but give it a try with an open heart, open mind, and know that it might not be 100% the way that it works for them works for you. Everything is about resonance. So when you are when you're stepping into that space of learning and discovering and really trying to figure out who you are, you have to be open to everything. And what I mean by everything is even the subtle nuances. And usually it's in those little subtle nuances that is your gift. So really paying attention to those little subtleties that happen. So here I am. I'm trying to be the intuitive, the medium that everybody else is, and I'm really struggling. And in that struggle, I then realize, oh my gosh, maybe this isn't for me. This isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. And of course, my guides are like, this is just something to kind of show you your path. So when I started to like just really step into who I was, that's when I really started to discover, like, wait a minute, my gifts aren't working exactly like how that guru or that my teacher is showing me. My gifts work in, the way that, like, literally from moment to moment to moment, I'm experiencing a piece or a part of the future. And I didn't even realize it, but I've been doing that all of my life. But now I'm trying to hone in on, this is how I have to be. And I now have cut out that very beautiful gift that I came in with being able to see the snippets of the future, and to recognize that it moves very quickly within my energy field, and to pay attention. But it was the subtle that was a subtle nuance that I had to pay attention to. It's the same thing when I started mediumship. If you guys know me, mediumship was my first modality that really kind of opened me up into this world to step into my business. It really came clear to me that the way that I work is much different than everybody else. I had this mentor, we did group mentoring, and I was doing a reading for him. And I'll be honest, I'm not going to name names, but I didn't read the person that was coming forward in the exact way that he believed mediumship was supposed to be. Long story short, he humiliated me in front of the entire class, but which was really hard, by the way. You never want a teacher that does that, but he humiliated me in front of the class, talked down to me. And that was the moment that I was like, well, wait a minute. Even in what he was explaining to me and talking down to me was the exact same message and essence that I gave him that he said it should have been. I just did it in a different way. I did it in the way that I worked, not in the way that he worked. And the message still came forward. What he needed still came forward. And I did it in the way that I worked. It was after that, I'm going to tell you, I didn't go back to that mentoring. I was done with it after that. But the moment that I realized that, my mediumship completely opened up and expanded in ways that I could have never imagined. But that was the way that it worked for me. And that was my gift at the time that I was able to give back to the world. But I had to discover it. And I had to be open to how it is that I work, not how somebody else works or how he worked. So it's very important that you really pay attention to those little nuances in the way that things work. Now, as if all of you know, is that I combined all of that plus the energy work plus the experience that I have in my knowledge of psychology. I bring all of that together, even with my ability to really like step into the future. I bring all of that together, and now I have this beautiful ability to read timelines, which I'm constantly reading. I didn't realize that until I brought it all together. But now that is what my gift is that my guides, they're so funny, they call me the time traveler, but that's literally what I'm doing, is I'm traveling to these different pieces of time within timelines to bring in frequencies, to bring in information, to bring in that empowerment of what it is that you can achieve in that moment. Because we're always we're living in this moment, not at like, not past or present, but in this moment. I say past, yeah, past, present, or future. We're living in this moment. But I'm bringing that in when I work with people because it's just a natural part of who I am. And once I embrace that, I'm going to tell you the door to the easiness and ease of using it swung wide open. So you really have to pay attention. So let's talk about other ways of paying attention to um, how things unfold so you can have information on how that works. The other thing is really pay attention to how you show up in life, how you show up when you interact with people. Uh, Again, another example is that my entire life, me and my best friend, we laugh about it, but she's like, you're like dear Abby. People always are coming to you for your advice and your guidance and your wisdom. And I didn't even think anything of it. I thought, wow, that's kind of like a pretty big job to have, right? But when I really started paying attention to how I show up in the world, she was 100% correct. Like even people in, I always use Walmart, but people in Walmart that I say hi to, all of a sudden they're having this long conversation with me about their life. And they're looking for guidance. And have that natural ability to just do that. In fact, the other day I went to get my hair done, and yes, it takes 5 hours to do my hair. I have a lot of it. But in that 5 hours of being with her, I like the way that the energy went is I was giving her guidance and insight and reaching into her timelines to bring forward her highest and best potential of which direction to go into. But that's normal. That happens to me all the time everywhere I go. It doesn't matter, with friends, strangers, family, it doesn't matter. I naturally fall into that. But I naturally fall into that because of now what I discovered is my timeline ability. Because I can bring forward that information and insight and wisdom and guidance that they need to really empower people to just be like the best version of themselves. So you have to really pay attention to how you show up. Maybe the way that you show up is you're very people centered and you're very heart centered. So you may have, let's say you have like a career job, okay? And maybe your role of how you show up is in that leadership role of really showing people that the most important thing is that heart to heart people connection. Maybe it's not all about, the grind of, profit, like profitability, making sure that we're getting out there, that it's the heart connection first. And maybe that's your gift is that you have that energy and that healing from your heart space that even just in conversation or just being near them, that they begin to heal and they begin to grow. And maybe that's what your gift is. So, maybe if moving that into a business, maybe what you do is maybe that you sit in the energy of the person that you're healing and provide just this profound beautiful healing meditation in the way that you do it, not the way that other people provide meditations. So paying attention to how you show up in the world, how you show up in people's lives is a huge indicator of what your gift is. And then you can take that gift and you can really, mold it into the way that you want to work. Again, we all have a gift. Even and I'm telling you, like anybody that wants to start a healing business, but they're like, you know what, I'm just really loving and nurturing to my children, and that's it. That's not it. That's a huge gift. So why can't you be loving and nurturing for people by creating a container that's loving and nurturing and just maybe sitting with them in that energy and using whatever now has opened up in regards to your intuition to guide that energy? Because I'm going to tell you, your gift that you have, there are a ton of people out there that need it. They're just waiting for you to come forward to provide it. So it's very important that you pay attention. And again, not fall into that belief that the way Joe does it is the way that I have to do it. That's not true. It's just the frequency that you want to pick up on that you resonate with, and then bringing that frequency in and being okay with using it how you use it, however that shows up or however you want to express it. There are no rules about how you want to express that gift that you want to give to people. So be open. Don't be afraid to do it because we all need it. We all need you. Okay. So a few tools on how you can really start to discover how you show up and how your gifts work is I'm going to say the biggest thing is journaling. Every day, journal about your day. You don't have to be specific. You don't have to sit down and be like, okay, how did my gifts come out? Maybe have in the back of your mind, how did I show up today? What did today look like as I was moving through it? And begin to start journaling about it. Because what you're going to find is there's going to be themes I'm going to say within every story, because to me, every day is a new story. So within that story of your life for that day, there's going to be themes that come up in that. So you will have the themes about how you work. You will have the themes about what needs to be healed so that you can continue to move in with those gifts of how you work. Always two important themes you'll find that comes up. So don't censor your writing, freely write however you want to write. And then I would say in a couple weeks, go back and start pulling out those themes. So something that I did and I continue to do is every day I try to journal about how I show up in the world. And because our gifts are also always evolving, so you have to pay attention to that too. Like the gift that I have now, probably a year from now, I might be doing stuff that's along the same lines, but it's going to be more evolved. So there's going to be more into it. So what I do is I journal every night. I take like 5, 10 minutes, write about how I showed up in the day. What happened in my day? Like, how did I react to things? How did I feel about things that happened? Um, what was my interaction with Susie, who I went to lunch with? So I journal about all of those things. And then I journal a week's worth of stuff. Usually, when it comes to Sunday, I go back and I reread it. And then at the top of my journal, I write down the themes that are in there. So the theme might be provided a lot of business guidance. And then maybe the other theme is I got really upset when I asked my son to take out the garbage, and I had to ask him 5 times to do it. That's a trigger. There's something in that that needs to be healed. So I'll use that time to dive in and go in to heal that. Like, why isn't he hearing me? Why isn't he seeing me when I'm saying do your chores? And then I work on healing that. And then I go back to, okay, so I provided a lot of guidance. How did I provide that in that conversation? Oh, I was invited in. I know that now whenever I work or I provide guidance, I have to be invited in. I can't just automatically be like, "Hey, let me give you this suggestion, let me tell you what it is that I'm seeing." I have to be invited in by the individual. Once that door opens, I know that they are open, their heart and soul is open to hearing what I have to share with them. When I used to journal, I'd be like, "Oh, I tried to give this idea and it was shot down." I started to realize the theme was the importance of being invited in. That is part of what my gift is. When I'm invited in, it is a complete energetic open doorway to then to then give that information and then receive that energy back when they accept it. So you really have to pay attention to that. Journaling is one of the most important things. The other things is, the people that you have in your life that are really close, like your really good friends or, your family members, and just having a conversation with them. And the best conversation starter with them is to say, "Hey, how do you see that me? How do like when I interact with you, how do I show up for you? Like, how do you see me?" And allow them to provide that feedback, because when you genuinely show up in the world how you authentically are, it is impossible for other people to see anything but the truth of who you are. Now, again, you got to be open and you got to be raw and honest and truthful. If they provide you of some feedback that you're like, "Oh, I don't really like that," know that that's an opportunity to heal. And in that opportunity to heal, there is growth, there is expansion that then can open up even more of the gifts that you provide to the world. So, your friends and family, people who are close to you, who will be honest with you, are another wonderful way to really discover your unique gifts and who you are and what you can offer and give to the world, especially in regards to a business. And then lastly, I mean, there's a ton of more, but I'm going to give you the top 3. Pay attention to your dreams. When you dream, even if you're like an extremely vivid dreamer like I am, or even if you just remember bits and pieces of your dream, again, that's another thing that a journal is really good for, to reflect back. But start really looking at your dreams. Dream interpretation, whether you get a book or you just sit down and you start noticing themes that are happening within your dreams, because your subconscious is going to, every night, our subconscious is reflecting back to us big messages about who we are and the things that we need, or the things that we're processing. So your dreams are another way to really, discover who it is that you are. So, last story before I close here. As a child, oh my gosh, I would dream so vivid that I would wake up and think that it really happened. Like, that's how vivid my dreams were. And I always really enjoyed the dreams of where I was like flying, where my body was just flying through the air. Why? I don't know. It felt so freeing. And as a kid, you're like, "I'm flying. It's so much fun." But when I really started to sit down, as an adult, I still do it as an adult. I still fly in my dreams as an adult. But now I know that when I sat back to reflect on it, that flying was showing me my ability to move through the quantum into timelines. Like, I was literally throwing my energy into these quantum timelines. And for me, it came as flying. The other thing that I later discovered that I didn't even realize I did, but I astral travel. That's another, I'm gonna say it's another gift I have. I astral travel everywhere. That would probably be another fun conversation for another time to share with you my experiences that I've had with astral traveling. But I also astral travel. I'm literally flying through the quantum and astral traveling. So that's another gift that I have. I have the ability to astral travel. And in my astral travel, how do I want to show up when I do that? Well, I want to give back and I want to help and I want to heal and I want to work with whomever, wherever I am when I astral travel. So pay attention to your dreams because I would have never been able to recognize that if I wasn't being aware. I'm going to say hyper aware of my dreams because you kind of have to be that way to start creating that I'm going to say that pattern or that habit of dream recall. But I started being an active participant in my dreams and really starting paying attention to what am I doing? How am I feeling? What was that like when I was doing that? And then I said this was going to be the last one, but most importantly, work with your guidance. Whether you see, sense, feel, or hear your guides, it doesn't matter how you experience them. Um, I can feel and experience my guides. If you ask me what they look like, I could tell you they just look like energy to me. But I also know because of the pattern, I mean, the positive pattern that has happened is that for me, when I work with my guides, not only can I hear them because I'm extremely clairaudient, but they will show me something in my external world that I need to pay attention to as to whatever my evolution process is or what it is that I my or my new gift that I've always had but now I've just recently discovered. So your guides are always working for you, not against you. So really pay attention to the synchronicities that are happening because your guides could are more likely the ones that are putting that in your pathway. So, all right, I hope this was helpful. Just some information, some guidance on just some food for thought as you move forward in your journey, especially when you're stepping into entrepreneurship and really wanting to figure out what it is that you give back. The other thing that I'm going to encourage that any way that it comes to you, practice, 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 practice. That's what your friends and family are for. You can even provide that and practice on clients because clients can also give you very powerful feedback as to how that worked or didn't work for them. But practice, practice, practice because um, from my old sporting days, practice makes perfect. But it really, when we're in the healing world, practice creates evolution and expansion. So make sure that you are also practicing whatever comes forward. And truth be told, if you practice and you're like, well, this isn't really working, it doesn't mean that you completely throw it out. It may be something that you need to use for yourself, not necessarily for someone else. That's okay too, because we have gifts that are just for us as we move and navigate this beautiful earth school. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. As always, I love each and every single one of you. My heart is always so full and so grateful when you take the time to hear what I have to say and just be with me. So until next time, everyone, oh, so much love from my heart to yours. All right. Bye bye.